Jesus prophesies in Matthew 24 that Jerusalem and the temple will be destroyed, and that in the last days there will be wars, pestilence, earthquakes and famines, but that we should not be alarmed, as these are just the beginning of birth pains before he comes again. The first part of Jesus' prophecy was fulfilled in AD 70, and we are now seeing the gradual fulfillment of the birth pains Jesus told his disciples about. The Bible is very clear that things are going to deteriorate before Jesus returns, but the question is, how should we as believers respond to the increasing decay of creation, society, and man? Let's take a look. In Matthew 24, Jesus tells us that because of the increase of wickedness and trouble on earth, many will turn away from the faith, and the love of many will grow cold, but that he who stands firm to the end will be saved. In other words, those who persevere in faith and love to the end will be saved. We need to recognize that we cannot control what is happening or what will happen in these last days, but we can control our faith and love. Paul tells us in Galatians chapter 5 verse 6 that the only thing that counts is faith expressing itself through love. Love is a choice. Jesus commands us to love God and one another because love reveals our faith in God. Galatians chapter 5 verse 6 and 1 John chapter 4 verses 7 to 21. Love reveals that we are followers of Christ. John chapter 13 verses 34 and 35. Love reveals that Jesus was sent and that we belong to him. John chapter 17 verse 23. Love assures us of our salvation. To stand firm to the end is to love to the end. 1 John chapter 4 verses 16 and 17. Love must be our highest goal, but we must recognize that it is the same kind of love that God reveals to us, an unconditional love that chooses to love. I believe the reason people turn away from the faith and that their love grows cold is because their faith and love are conditional. If God doesn't do what I expect, and if I don't experience him as I want to, then I won't believe in him and love him. However, Jesus expects us to count the cost and follow him regardless of what we might go through or how others live their Christian lives. We must choose to love God, his people, and his salvation purposes unconditionally. This is what we are called to. I encourage you to read Matthew chapter 24 and 2 Timothy chapter 3 verses 1 to 5 to understand what the last days look like and the dangers we as believers and the church need to be aware of. I also encourage you to go through the scriptures I mentioned before that really help us understand the significance of godly love and our need to make love our highest priority. And finally, I encourage you to read John chapter 21 verses 15 to 22 that shows us how Jesus wants his disciples to demonstrate their love by fulfilling his calling on their lives, counting the cost, and choosing to follow him regardless of how others respond to his call. Church, let's make sure we stand firm to the end as we hold on to faith and persevere in love. Choose love. God bless you.